This site is a mess. Let's clean it up. Welcome back to another video, guys. Thank you very much again for joining me today. As you can see, we are back out here at the BUSHCRAFT site, and before we get into it, let's go ahead and talk about what gear I am using today. So, the pack I'm using for this day out is the Osprey Talon 26 litre. Now this is my go-to hiking backpack, however I had to walk out to the site today for quite a distance, so I'm using this to make it a bit more comfortable and for a change. So let's go ahead and look at what equipment I've got with me today. So I have one water bottle, that is a Camelback 1 litre water bottle, and I have my second water bottle here, which is a 1.5 litre plastic bottle. I'm hoping that that will be enough water. In the front pouch here I have my sit mat in case I want to sit somewhere. In the top lid pocket I have my leather gardening gloves, which are my go-to gloves in terms of work gloves, just making sure that these are hanging properly, and these, whilst I'm out here, will live on my belt, nice and easily accessible, good to have on. Coming into the bag itself, opens up right in the top. Got my red dry bag here. This is my first aid kit, so this will live here at the table, so I know exactly where it is. Some tools, got the usual, the Bahco Laplander folding saw, my TBS bore knife, and down the back of the pack here I have my Raymer's BUSHCRAFT Grand Forest Brooks small forest axe. Next, I've got my smock in case it gets chilly. Got my brew kit. If you want to see a video on the brew kit, click the card in the top right hand corner of your screen and you can go ahead and see that video. I've got my shell jacket in case it rains. I've got my weather kit. If you want to see a video talking more about my weather kit and my rationale behind it, let me know by leaving a comment down below. In the top zippered pocket here I have a head torch. I'm not going to be here overnight, but always something I like to carry just in case. And right at the bottom I have my DD 3x3 tarp and some tent pegs, again in case the weather comes in and I need to hunker down. As you saw in the intro, the site here is a bit of a mess, so that's what we're going to focus on today. Is we're going to go ahead, we're going to tidy it up. So let me get some tools sorted, and then I'll kind of walk around and explain the stuff I want to tidy up and some of the things that I'm going to be doing today. So let's go ahead and get tooled up. So let's actually talk about that. So the Bahco Laplander for me lives down the side of my trousers. And then, of course, the knife lives on my belt. The belt I use is still one from Anson Belt and Buckle. Love their belts. Fantastic holeless belts. Very similar to the Core Essentials belts that are out there. Although I think slightly cheaper. Whether they're cheaper quality, I don't know. And as always, guys, this channel is agenda free, so I am not being sponsored by anyone or being paid to say anything. Anything I say is completely my opinions or facts that I've read off of the website. Not a sponsorship or anything of that sort. So just keep that in mind. So, here's what we're working with. So, right here we've got a lot of branches on the ground, and this was all me mostly. When I was building the table and the fire pit and stuff, any branches that I wasn't using kind of got chucked here. So I want to tidy this up. This tree here, I want to trim some of the branches a little bit further back. Again, there's a lot of wood around the chopping area there. You can see this tree here I've already come in and trimmed back, but I've left the branches protruding a little bit so that if I'm ever taking clients or scouts or whatever out here to do bushcraft or whatever, this is a place where they can hang their equipment. Now, so there's some other trees here, this one here, and this big one here. They're my priority for today, especially all of this shrubbery down here on the ground. Interestingly, we've got some mushrooms down here. I'm not entirely sure what they are, so we'll be careful around them. They kind of look chanterelle-esque, but what's interesting is they are new. They were not here the last time I was out here, so that's quite interesting. They've arrived really quickly, so I want to trim this down and clear this out, and I might go ahead and move this pile of soil here that came out of the fire pit and just kind of clear this area up. We might also go a little bit further and head back out towards the entrance to the woodland, and kind of clear out a path into the woodland, because I currently am traipsing in on my memory and roughly where I've walked, but we could go ahead and make an actual path. So let's go ahead and start by clearing up some of these branches. We might start on this tree here. Now, on this one here, I used the saw. I used my Baco Laplander to cut these off so that they were cut off clean, because I knew I was wanting to potentially hang stuff on this tree. These other ones, I might just go ahead and use the axe, because I just need this done. I kind of want this done relatively quickly, so we might just try and take the axe to them. Before anyone says it, yes, these branches are on live trees, but these branches are dead because of the way that these coniferous trees grow, so don't be too concerned about it. You can see, however, there's a little bit of resin in there, so some of this might be quite good firelight, and there might be some fat wood kicking about, so that'll be good. So let's get to it. So we're going to go ahead and clear this tree up. So I am just going to try it with the axe here. Now, so we'll take the axe mask off. We want to make sure that we don't lose this, so we're going to put it into our pocket. And immediately there's a tree root here that seems to be growing over the top of the tree. I'm just going to cut that off because that's a bit of a trip hazard there whilst I'm working. And that's one thing we need to make sure when we're working. We're not going to trip or anything. We can see some really whopping big roots here as well, down here on the ground, but that's not too big of an issue. So we'll just go ahead. We want to just clear off any of this crap that's going to get in the way. And we want to be aware of, when we're using an axe, of where it might follow through to. So if I swing, and I don't know how well you can see this, but if I swing and I miss, I don't want my legs like this. I don't want my legs together, because then I'm going to impact my legs. So I'll turn around and show you that from a different angle. I don't want my legs together when I'm swinging, because if I miss, that's quite dangerous. I want legs apart. With an axe this size, it'll be alright. So that's the follow through. If it's a shorter axe, we obviously need to be careful of the higher up areas. Similarly, we can work off to the side. So I could stand, for example, over here, so that if I miss, this is the trajectory. That's quite awkward with this big tree. So I'm going to work from this position. Now my legs are together, but that is because my follow through is going to be that way. Because I'm going to be coming in at this angle here, and then this angle. So this angle is nice and safe, because if it skips, it's going to hit the tree. And this angle is safe, because if it misses, it's going to follow through there. If I come wide, it's actually more of a risk, and it's less stable, in this case. But if I do decide to swing through, I want to be watching, where my legs are. So just be constantly thinking about that, and especially if you've got people around you, you want to be careful. So let's see if we can get this to come off. So there was a good example. I glanced and I missed myself. So there we go. Quite stubborn. This wood is really nice, really dense here, and quite fat woody. But that did come off. So we can keep going. We can come back and saw later if we need to. But we can keep going on to the rest of the branches here. I'm not even going to take this branch off, and this one here is fine. I might take this one off, or even just take it off here. But I am going to take some of these branches off. Including some of these ones up here. So there we go, that's all better now, it's all trimmed up. It is all still sitting here, so what I now need to do is go ahead and probably stick my gloves on and I start pulling this back there somewhere probably, because it could be used to work for firewood or whatever, and as shelter building materials potentially. That area there behind me cleared up. Which is already looking much better, and in fact gives me quite a large area there for benches, seating and that kind of stuff. Potentially maybe another table. We could go ahead and build another table in here, and that would be expand the room massively. But it's also a good seating area, etc. Off the side of the fire, we could use it as a carving zone or whatnot. Now I'm going to take 5 minutes break here. I'm sweating like crazy here. It's really quite warm today, even in the woods here in the shade. So I might just take 5, maybe sit on the chopping block or whatnot, and take a break. So, as I always say, you can't be in the woods without a brew, so let's get a brew on. So I've just got my usual brew kit here with me. Cup, my go-to drink, Nescafe mochas. And as I say, I've got my usual brew kit. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want to know more about this, check out the video. There'll be a link in the description to the video. I linked it earlier as well. Alright. There we go, good to go. So let's see how this water is doing. We'll carefully lift the lid off. Well, you've got some bubbles forming on the bottom, so that's all good. Now, you might wonder why someone out here doing bushcraft is not, lighting a fire in the fire pit that he dug a couple of weeks ago and making his cup of tea or coffee or whatever using a fire. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. Right now, it's largely because the ground is still incredibly dry. If you saw last week's video, I was out here, and yes, it was absolutely tipping it down, and that fire pit is now got, flood marks almost. But it's still really dry and crumbly, so there is a fire risk there. Secondly, this is public woodland, and I wouldn't say I'm not confident to put a fire here yet, just in case. I want to have the site a little bit more set up first. I've not got enough water to deal with an emergency situation, so I might go ahead and get a bucket or something out here for that reason, just in case something happens, because this is public woodland, of course. So that's why, and there's no reason not to use stoves such as this. Some people would say don't use gas stoves because they make too much noise, and that's true, but that's one of the benefits here of this, of the Trangia spirit burner and of alcohol stoves in general, is that they are incredibly quiet. So I've actually decided that this fire pit is actually that damp that it would probably be okay for us to have a fire. So I'm going to try getting a fire going in here. So I'm going to start just with a bit of a raft here, just something to prop up off of the wet ground, and then if I use a piece at the back here as a bit of a brace, I've got a feather sticks bundle here, and then I've got some twigs ready to go on. Now because it's quite damp today, I'm going to go ahead and just use a lighter to light this, because this wood is a little damp. As we can see, it's not burning very well. Come on. There we go. Now in my opinion, you just can't beat sitting around an open fire. The lovely warmth, the glow. It's just lovely. It's a pretty good fire as well. So there we go guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. A little bit of a jumbled one, but we've cleaned the site up a little bit. We've had a fire and we've had some fun. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, please do me that favour and hit that like button, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe as well. Stay tuned for next week's video. Get out there and have some fun, and until next time, bye for now.